I just want to bring back that question that David brought forward here when it comes to commodities, where you're seeing things in dry bulk shipping. Do you think that this commodities rout, we've seen the worst of it?
Well, it's interesting. We've actually had a very strong year as it comes to trade flows, particularly on the iron ore front and the coal front, going from Brazil into China, Australia into China. And then we've also had quite a strengthening in the minor bulks on the cement side, the fertilizer side. So we're actually seeing a fairly robust steel industry recovery in China, in India, and the rest of the world.
Right. I want to bring up a measure that, of course, you look at quite a bit, I'm sure, which is the Baltic Dry Index, John. I was just bringing up this chart for our viewers to see. And it was interesting what we saw about 6 months ago. As soon as President Trump started opening these trade salvos here, we saw this unexpected surge in some of these freight rates, of course. Now we're seeing things sort of peter up just a little bit, although recently we've seen just a slight tick up here. Is this reflective of your freight rates this year as well?
Well, look, I think it is. I think what you have to keep in perspective, though, is that the dry bulk shipping industry is going through the early stages of a recovery, which really began in the fourth quarter of 2017. So what we're seeing now is the continued volatility that dry bulk shipping has always had in terms of rates, but we're seeing higher lows and higher highs. And what's interesting that happened this year, typically, you have a little seasonal slowdown in the summer, and what we saw this year was actually a rally in the summer, as you pointed out. We've come off of that rally, really during the month of August, but now, again, we're seeing Capesize rates, which are our largest ships, that went down to earning $15,000 a day. They've now started to move back up to $18,000 a day. And I think the real interesting indicator from a freight standpoint is that the iron ore majors are now back doing long-term charter deals. So they are chartering ships for 3 years at a time again. Those are points that we haven't seen over the last 18 months, and those rates are higher than what the BDI or the Baltic Cape Index is showing today.